Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to our Science Flipped classroom. As you can recall, last week we began Chapter 8, The Universe, specifically Lesson 1, Earth and Sun. I discussed the importance of vocabulary for your understanding of the material, as well as gave you an essential question: what has kept Earth around its path for so long? Okay? I also asked you to use the critical thinking questions and the quick checks throughout the lesson for better understanding. You guys did awesome work answering that essential question based on the knowledge you already had and based on the new knowledge obtained from the lesson. So great job. This week, we're going to move towards Lesson 2, Earth and Moon. Okay? I still want you to remember the importance of vocabulary for your understanding, but we're going to use a specific reading strategy this week to better understand the previous lesson from last week, Earth and Sun, and the lesson this week, Earth and Moon. Again, I want you to remember those vocabulary words, write them down so you understand them, so you don't have to look back in the text, use the diagrams, use the pictures, all those strategies we already talked about. However, as you're reading, I want you to use a graphic organizer to jot down notes and thoughts about how the sun, the moon, and the earth are similar, as well as how they're different based on what you learned last week and what you're going to learn this week. Now, I have two choices for graphic organizers I want you to use. You can use the standard graphic organizer, the one with the circles. Okay, we're going to talk about the earth, the sun, and the moon, and how they're all different. And then in the middle, you're going to talk about how they're all related. So how are the earth and the sun related? How are the sun and the moon related? How are the moon and the earth related? And how are all three of them related based on what you learned last week and what you learned this week? If you don't like this format, I have another format you can use that would provide the same information as well. Okay? Here is the second option for graphic organizer that you could use. Okay, this one is a little bit less confusing in my opinion. I know we're used to seeing the first model, but this one is more user-friendly as it's more organized if you're a more organized person. So again, we're talking about the earth, the sun, and the moon, because last week was all about the earth and the sun, and this week is all about the earth and the moon. At the top, you'd put how all three of them are related based on what you learned and what you read last week and this week. And again, at the bottom, how is the earth different? How is the sun different? And how is the moon different? How are they all different from each other? And then up at the top, how are they all the same? Now, remember, since these are graphic organizers, you don't need to write in complete sentences. This is kind of just a tool to use to get down your thoughts, ideas, new knowledge you're obtaining, because we're going to do something later in the chapter relating back to this. So for this week, I want you to use this reading strategy of comparing and contrasting to take what you learned last week and apply it to what you learned this week, and how are they related as well as how are they different. Okay, you guys did a great job with your essential question last week, so now you're going to do a great job with this strategy this week. I can't wait to hear all about it in next week's class. Good luck, guys, and I'll see you next week.